Hi, I'm Richard Steller.
Hi, I'm Anne Marie Johnson.
Thanks for joining us for our Mankind Project podcast.
Our very first.
Yeah, you can reach us at themankindproject.org, and we thank you for watching.
Thank you. Well, I know you as Sabrina.
Yes.
Why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers and listeners?
Well, most people know me as Sabrina, a lot of my friends. Although my first name is actually Syed. I'm named after my father. And yes, that is a masculine name. It would have been Saida had my father not been so nervous. And he wrote his name. It's family tradition. If you're male, then you're Syed. And if you're female, then you're Saida.
Well, he was really nervous.
Yeah, but it's okay because in this day and age, having the masculine name,
it's fabulous.
Yeah, and most Americans don't know that it's the masculine.
The difference,
it's like Bob.
So I know we're here, Black History Month.
Yes.
For anyone who would just take a look at you, you are not typically
right.
Black.
No.
But let's talk about your black side.
All right. Well,
who are you with regard to being black?
Well, my father was born in Fiji Islands, and he's Pakistani and Fijian and East Indian, Persian, Arabic roots. And so, as most people are aware, the Fijian background is African. Mm-hmm. But the African American part of my ancestry actually is on the whitest side of my family. My mother is white, and in her family, they're from the South. Mm-hmm. And so they had a tumultuous background. I was doing my family ancestry, and it kind of stops where they, like the rebel flags come up, and you're like, wait, what happened? What's going on? Uh-huh. And it was like this, it was like this site, this part of it is closed, this person, until this family does some investigation to find out who this person is. And so then I went along the long way, and I found out this person was born with an African mother, and my ancestor who was Caucasian.
So a product of a rape.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, no, actually.
It was a consensual
relationship. It was.
Relationship?
They were married, and they had children. And what's interesting...
You're not related to Thomas Jefferson, are you?
Well,
you never know.
No, I am too, but different my mother on a different family line.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's really strange.
That's fascinating.
Well, my mother's family were the people who went to Virginia from England, and one of it's very sad, but I feel like, in this lifetime, I truly believe that we are our ancestors' tragedies, their hardships, and then we are here now to heal those wounds that we committed on others.
Do you think that's why your music is so incredibly soulful and intelligent and storytelling and involved and
Yes,
deep?
I do. I believe so, because when my mother married my father, the family just kind of cut her off, and it was very interesting because I didn't know that my mom and dad were very different. My father, just skin color, yes. And I lived in a neighborhood where it was mostly Mexican American.
Because you're in Angeleño,
right?
Like I am.
And and then I was bused going to school, and not until I was bused did I see white kids, and I thought, you guys look like my mother.
Wow.
She has blue eyes too. And I thought, and what's interesting is everybody in my father's family, they're just so dark. And then they would look at me like, oh, she's very white. But then I didn't, I couldn't really relate to the whiteness part of me, because my mother's family, they kind of weren't in the picture. So what's interesting is I grew up feeling very just multicultural without knowing so much of my background in a lot of ways.
So you were ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, you could be anything.
Yeah. I did.
No one would know.
Right. And I've done that throughout my whole life.
You could be African American, you could be Latina, you could be Italian, you could be Middle Eastern, you could be anything.
Yes. And I would say that to people when they'd ask me, so what is your nationality? And I'd ask, what do you think I am? And I'd usually, their first guess, I'd go, you're right. And somebody, hey! I was telling this to a friend of mine. and she's half Filipino and half Cuban. So
Wow.
yeah, we were, and I was looking at her going, gosh, not until I saw a photograph of your father could I see the Filipino in you, and I thought it was interesting because once someone mistook me for being Filipino, and I thought, no way,
you could
no
easily
way.
be. Yeah,
I thought, okay, I'll take it.
Is that when you create your artistry, which is music? Is there a conscious effort to be soulful in the traditional sense? Because I'm sure people compare you to, and I even listening to your most current CD, I'm thinking this is what Amy Winehouse was trying to get to. It's so soulful, even though Amy had no ethnicity other than being a Jewish woman growing up in the UK. You have a lot of ethnic juices running through.
Yes. Well,
because you're not faking it.
No, and I think my background, my musical background. My father was very musical, and he played raga music, and so he played sitar, guitar, tabla, drums, violin, different instruments, and piano, and he sang, and so I believe I do my best to emulate how my father's soul. I'm into so many different styles of music, and growing up, I was very much into punk rock and roll, and all that stuff as a teenager. But I found myself in a juvenile hall detention center, and then later I was in a group home, which actually saved my life because what I received there was nourishment for the soul. I never had a close bonding relationship with my own mother, so and it was in an African American community.
Wow.
A Baptist group home. It was owned by a white woman.
So how is it that a white woman runs a Baptist group home?
Well, she didn't live there. She owned the house.
Okay.
She had a woman named Mary Williams who was not a counselor. She wasn't licensed into anything. She was basically the person who ran the house. And so when all the counselors who were the educated ones with the degrees, when they left, she was there cleaning up and really raising the girls.
She took over.
Yeah, she was actually the one who helped all of us, and she was my biggest mentor. So I get very emotional.
It's okay.
But so her daughter was married to a minister with and he had a Baptist church, and we would, because I wasn't allowed to go home on the weekends, I would go with her, and I would
Wow.
I eventually because she heard me sing, so I eventually went and sang for some of the women in the choir, and they were like,
They probably
"Young
said,
lady."
"Get this girl."
So, and I had a mohawk at the time.
Yeah.
It was very comical. So, because this was an era when it was not normal to see a kid with pink hair or something. And so I joined the choir, and they called me their little ringer. It was funny because, I relearned how to sing. I opened up my spirit, if you will, of who I needed to be. It helped me discover myself, really.
Do you remember anything? Can you give us a taste of what you sang, Baptist-wise?
Oh, I could, but oh gosh, I would.
Just a taste.
Well, better yet, I'll sing something from my album if you like.
Even better.
Okay.
It's a better taste.
And but I just want to add as a quick note. So, like Abby, I grew up with a Muslim background. My father was Muslim, my mother was Catholic. So it was very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. So then when my father let me make my own choices. When he taught me how to pray, but he didn't make it a thing of who you're praying to. It was mostly look in the mirror. Because who your ancestors and who you are and who God is lives through you. And he believed that through any religion, if that's what you're looking through, you don't really need the religion. So he was very wise that way. And I think that's why he married outside of his religion race, and just because he was also a musician and an artist.
And he did the right thing because...
Yes, and I'm very grateful for that, because I believe because of my background, with my music, I can give so much to the world because I truly believe that music will and can heal the world if we
Without
allow
question.
it to.
Without
Yes,
question.
because it's like laughter and sadness. We all share that, and it's worldwide, and everyone knows that. And if we didn't have these things that separate us, that are just really truly distractions, I think things that would bring us together, such as music, would just be an enlightening force in our whole planet.
So what are you going to choose from your current album?
Well, this song is titled "Everybody Knows."
And I just want to let our viewers know you're going to sing us out, but I want to make sure, what is the name of your most current CD?
It's called "Thou Art That."
Fabulous.
Excellent. Thank you. Even after I've washed my makeup off, I haven't washed the thought of you away. How can anybody treat somebody that way? Who, children, whoa, who, bad men, whoa, oh, make it stop. Everybody knows there were crimes committed. People have already spoken up. What you gonna do now that you have been called out? Kill everybody till there ain't nobody's left. You're gonna kill everybody till there ain't nobody's left. Are you gonna really kill everybody? Well, you also might not be left.
Oh! Sabrina,
Thank
thank you. Fabulous.
Whoa!
You see? I'm looking at their reaction and they're like, oh, good Lord. Fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
That was
Yay.
That was great.